Why socialism? Well, the answer is simple. Under unrestricted capitalism, which we did have at one time, only rich people could vote. Only rich people could have rights. And poor people, well, we lived at the complete mercy of a rich, powerful ruling class that exerted absolute domination over us. We had no legal rights, or rather, we had one legal right, the right to obey, and the right to compete against each other for jobs. Because let's face it, we were not valued. We were replaceable. And then something happened. Socialism happened. And capital democracy was forced to make concessions. And as a result, we now have public education, public health care, workers' rights, women's rights, and there are some legal restrictions on what rich people can do. For the most part. Yeah. But here's the thing. Since the dissolution of the Soviet Union some 25 years ago, capitalist democracy has been coming back, stronger than ever, as it were. And they want to take us back to the Gilded Age, the mid to late 19th century, when the tycoon was king and the worker, well, the worker was nothing. The worker was replaceable. Every worker knew that they had to offer total obedience, total submission, or they'd be thrown out in the streets and replaced with another worker who would offer total obedience and submission. We're talking about the good old days when factory supervisors could tell you to your face, "That's a mighty purty daughter you got there, John. Why don't you bring her to my office and I'll show her my etchings while you're working your next shift?" And of course, everybody knew what that meant. It meant you had to pimp out your own kid to your supervisor to keep your job. And that was capitalist democracy, unrestricted. Capitalist democracy is only rich people vote. That is, people who own property, people who own wealth, people who own the factories, people who own the big farms, not the little farms, but the big farms. They vote. And you and me, the people that own nothing, we don't vote. We obey. We work, and when commanded to do so, we also go to war on their behalf to procure more resources for them to profit from. That is capitalist democracy. That is colonial democracy. That is what we are heading back to very quickly. And how can we stop this? Well, labor unions. Labor unions are a weapon in our arsenal. I realize that many people are now afraid of labor unions because we've been told by the corporations labor unions are bad. We're not. Labor unions protect workers. Labor unions mean that workers are guaranteed fair wages, which means that workers don't have to compete against each other to keep their jobs. What the Americans call right to work states are basically a bidding war between workers to see who can work for less money, where the workers are turned against each other, pitted against each other. But a union is workers working together to force the company to share some of the profits with the workers who've actually created that profit. That's the difference between unrestricted capitalism and labor unions. Labor unions protect workers. Unrestricted capitalism exploits workers, makes workers compete against each other, and ultimately conquers through division, divisiveness, and just flat out malice. It's cold out here. I'm going to go in. All you good people, just remember, if you're not a member of a labor union, try to start one. And if you cannot start one, at least support the ones that exist. Thank you. Thank you.